script. I just go right into it.
Well, that's me too. So you're good.
Well, then there you go. I tell
Yeah.
you, Jerry, you and I, we are different wrestling fans among the oblivious, I feel like, or maybe among the oblivious. When you think about Impact Wrestling, 20 years now, 20 years this year, they celebrate the fact they have re-innovated themselves. They have risen from the ashes, and they have had more continues than an arcade game machine when you
Mm-hmm.
think that this company will be dead by now. Sure, maybe the viewership isn't what it used to be. Sure, maybe your star power you think is what it used to be. Sure, maybe the fan base is what it used to be. But like I, the Impact faithful, the TNA faithful, I still stand by Impact Wrestling. Couldn't be happier for where this company stands today. And once again, they are going to show why they are indeed what this pay-per-view calls itself, and that is Hard to
Hard to
Kill.
kill.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this very special, first time ever, Simply Normal Duo panel video, I'm going to call it. Name and
Something
working.
normal.
Love to hear your thoughts, and I'm sure he'll have further thoughts too. This definitely will not be a one-off either. But I am the simple man of no DQ, and my name is Noah Foster. And of course, with me is my partner in all things crazy wrestling and crime. Not the last thing. The new normal, Jerry Slaughter. Jerry, how are you? And Happy New Year to you. It's the first time I can remember you and I ever doing a duo video together for wrestling predictions for
Oh,
Impact Wrestling.
I was about to say it's been a bit that it's just been me and you gig. I think we did like one video on my YouTube channel at one point, just a quick one off kind of thing. But
Yeah,
our first prediction video was just me and you on here, and it feels good. It feels great. It feels wonderful because we're not talking about the big two, as if you could say. We're talking about something that's near and dear to me because I really got into TNA for the longest time, and like after a while, yeah, it kind of lost its luster because so many stars had moved out of the way and everything. But then, even then, they just kind of built back up and have made this awesome alternative at this point. That's like it still feels like it's underground almost, but it's wonderful. The stars in it, the action really hasn't died down at all. It's wonderful.
I tell you, Impact Wrestling in the last few years under Scott D'Amore and now newly managed aside as well with Gail Kim, who has really elevated and pushed forward the Knox division. That's always been leaps and bounds ahead of so many other rosters in women's professional wrestling. It
Mm-hmm.
truly is something special to see how far Impact come, and I couldn't be happier with my first ever live Impact experience last year with Slammiversary and Impact tapings. I can't wait to do it again. When I think about 2022 and who you watch out for, yeah, there's the big two, but honestly, I look at a big one. That's professional wrestling, not the
Yeah.
alternative. And by the way, you call yourself the alternative to this alternative? No, the real alternative to anything alternative professional wrestling to me has always been TNA, whatever you want to call it. It is officially now Impact Wrestling.
Yep.
And that being said, again, incredible growth with their roster. There's definitely a star power there, and they have booked one hell of a card this Saturday because. Yes, folks, all the bantering and all the, reuniting aside, we are here to simply talk to you about one thing in particular, and that is Impact Wrestling's first pay-per-view, not monthly special, pay-per-view of the year. I'm talking about Hard to Kill, and I'm not talking about what's brought to you by that stupid Money Impact, but I don't care about that movie. Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill, available on YouTube for Ultimate Insiders for a fraction of the price on pay-per-view. But if you wish to buy it on pay-per-view, it is also on Fight TV app. And you can get it for the price you see. And it starts tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Countdown to Hard to Kill for free, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. By the way, botch. That's a Saturday night I meant. Sorry, it's about to be Friday here in the Eastern Standard Time. We are, as we're recording this, 10:26 p.m. Thursday night, January 6th. And yes, I am tired. Okay, but that being said, I also want to give a shout out to those that participated in my inaugural Big Four pay-per-view Impact Wrestling Predictions League last year. Darn you, Paul freaking Ty and me, Chelsea Green, you fell short. Shout out to Paul Mead, Ashley Weld, Cindy G, and Gina, Colin, and the rest. We'll see. And Jerry, there you are, dead middle, sir. We'll see who participates this year. And folks, the forum is live on my Twitter. So come have some fun and look for something different in professional wrestling. And join my Impact Predictions League as we predict Hard to Kill. Shout out to the roster so far, including the Holiday Christopher Mace, Scott Cater, a great friend of mine. Hello, Governor. Evan Jackson, and yes, the Doctor, Dr. Bradley Campbell, Farm D. With that being said, Jerry, let's go ahead and get right into it. I feel like that's almost my opener nowadays for every pay-per-view video I
That's
do.
absolutely fine. It works.
I guess. So, yeah, let's just go with it. Hey, shout out to Mark Reviews in the chat. Can't wait for Hard to Kill. I'm headed to bed, but I'm finished listening to you guys' thoughts and predictions on Hard to Kill in the morning. I'm out here, guys. Have a good show. Appreciate you, man. And go follow all the teams on Facebook, folks, and follow this gentleman on Twitter. Check out me and his duels panels where we reviewed Wrestle Kingdoms Day 1 and 2 in full. Available right here on my simple YouTube channel. Keep plug. That being said, let's get right into it. So let's go ahead and first talk about this match as the knockouts are on the line between your inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, the former, for those who don't know. Yes, I'm going to do it. All right. Taking on the former, you might remember her as Emelina. Bleh. I'm talking about Tennille Dashwood with a true Knockouts original and a long-time Impact Wrestling / TNA roster member, Madison Rayne, now known as The Influence. I would not be surprised if their photographers, Jay with an I and Caleb with a K, are in the corners too, because the go-home segment tonight just confirmed to me about basically two things. You put three Aussies in a room. This sounds like a bad joke you would hear at a bar. You put three Aussies in a room and two photographers, and what do you get? The wildest yipping I've heard ever in my life, louder than a room of chihuahuas. But that being said, we all know the roots, or at least I do, the roots of the inspiration and Neil Dashwood, and that's where this all fell apart when they tried to form some super alliance. And I was like, there's no way this could work with these four Eagles. And it didn't, as Decay broke that all down. But somehow, with the help of Caleb with a K, it was the Influence that did get a singles win over one half of the Inspiration, and this tag title match was made. With the Knockouts tag titles still in their genesis, not even a year old, I believe, coming off of Fire and Flavor being the inaugural champs, and then it was passed on to, I believe, Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering, who then Fire and Flavor beat again, and then it was on, of course, Rosemary and Jessica Havoc, who lost to the Inspiration. And here we are. So, Jerry, give me your thoughts about this match, these two teams, and oy vey my ears when they were all arguing in that segment. And do you see new Knockout Tag Team Champions?
I don't see new knockout champions in this match. At least I think it's going to be a comical match. If anything, it's going to be funny just by sheer annoyance of everybody. But then you have the outside influence of Caleb with a K. But at the same time, I don't think he's going to be as big of a factor as people are letting him on to be. Or maybe he'll actually prove a big enough distraction to the Influence to the point where the Inspiration actually picks up the win.
Well, the thing is, the Inspiration now have their own photographer in Jay with an I, and we're seeing Caleb and Jay. How about that, J and K?
So basically, the camera not with the flash not turned off, and that's cause the win for.
I feel like we're gonna have some sort of like selfie contest on the outside, or a flash battle between the two cameramen and their own cameras.
I don't need to hear about them flashing each other.
That's a whole different context. That being said. I feel like, that Jessica McKay and Cassie Lee, again, I'm so happy for Cassie Lee. Yay. I feel like that the Inspiration are going to retain. I do like when I was in the Impact Wrestling Ultimate Insider chat, someone proposed the idea, hey, maybe the Inspiration could take these tag titles over outside of here, maybe face, I don't know, the Allure from Ring of Honor or the Hex in the NWA. And again, I wouldn't mind seeing more Forbidden Door stuff in women's tag team wrestling. So, but right now, I don't think the Influence is getting these titles. I have the Inspiration.
It's still, like you said, it's a little early in the tag title history for it to be bounced around too much like a hot potato. And I think for the longest time there, they already had in their head that the Inspiration was going to be coming over there, and they wanted them to be tag team champions. It was pretty much just biding their time until they got there, and now they are there. They're going to be holding the belts for a little while longer.
And again, it's what Jessica McKay and Cassie Lee wants to do. They want to push forward tag team wrestling. They want to focus their growth in this promotion together as a tag team, and I appreciate that. And again, or Cassie Lee,
I like the idea of the Allure showing up, especially at the end of the match. Like maybe as the Influence is leaving, like lights go out, the Allure shows up. You have your match set for either the next pay-per-view or just another program going on.
you also have an awkward reunion between Angelina Love and Madison Rain, aka former members of the Beautiful People.
That's just the way you kick off like a year for like a new year for Impact is have like some of the old stars actually pop back in, even if it's just for a cameo or just to cut a promo or something. It seems right.
Well, Scott Demore did allude to that we're going to look at the highs and some of the lows this year in Impact TNA's 20-year history. So it wouldn't surprise me if they revisit some of that. And again, you think about Immortal, you think about the early days with the NWA, you think about the crossovers, NJPW, and how they screwed Okada. You think about when GCW invaded. You think about the six-sided ring coming back for a little while. Kurt Angle was
anytime I think to the past, I automatically think of like the heyday of the X Division because
Yes.
like the X Division was just the first thing I ever saw for Impact Wrestling / TNA. I was watching the Best Damn Short Sports Show period when when TNA was on there for a short time, and the first thing I ever saw was Jarrell Clark getting hit by a Canadian Destroyer by Petey Williams. I was just flipping through channels. I landed on that, and I was like, sold.
Oh, Canada.
And then you had Samoa Joe versus Christopher Daniels versus AJ Styles in triple threat
The
matches.
Immortal three-way that will always go down as my favorite freaking X Division match of all time.
Styles made himself into my favorite wrestler in that company, like just pretty much in the world by just being in that company, because
Yes.
he put on nothing but great matches in that period, and even beyond that, even when he was a comedy act, you had to still take him seriously in the ring.
Yeah, and very rarely we see him being Ric Flair Jr. was a little bit humorous, but that still was a weird time. But since we're talking so much about the X Division, and again, how they always try and be the whole F and shout out to a former TNA Hall of Famer, might I add, Rob Van Dam, another great wrestler in his own right for this company. Let's go ahead and talk about the X Division. As again, the X Division Championship will look to steal the show and will be on the line with higher stakes than usual. As the current champ, my hometown boy right here from Toledo, Ohio, Trey Miguel. He defends the X Division Championship against the unpinned and unsubmitted, not undefeated though, Steve Macklin. And Gail Kim has added this stipulation that, if Steve Macklin does not win the X Division Championship during this match, he cannot challenge Trey Miguel for the X Division Championship as long as he's holding the title. So basically, he may not challenge for this title for a long, long time. And the figure was Trey Miguel who pushed this in the first place. He wants this match one-on-one because the last time Steve Macklin and Trey Miguel were in the ring together was a triple threat. Laredo Kid and Steve Macklin both were involved in the decision, but it was Laredo Kid who was part of the decision in the end because he was part of the pin, and Steve Macklin got his shoulder up. But that's how Trey successfully retained his title at the last special, which was a Turning Point last year. Again, the X Division, you never know what to think. It's, again, like open weight. The expectations and the lengths these people will go to is limitless. I wouldn't mind seeing that guy here, but I digress. But again, Trey Miguel, he just won this title very recently. He's been through a couple of defenses now, including against Rock Romero. Very good match from last year's Impact. I think here, though, Steve Macklin, again, he has been on a hot streak since being part of Impact Wrestling. Unleashing Mayhem, and again, he technically has not been pinned or submitted. This could be his first title. Jerry, again, you have advocated so much about how the X Division brought you to this company in the first place. What's your expectations as far as this match goes? And again, Steve Macklin, former NXT superstar.
I was about to say, I had forgotten that.
I think a lot of people have.
No, forgotten son's joke.
I know. I got you.
All right, but I think it's still relatively early for even Trey Miguel to even lose the X Division title. I think he's been people have been, I'll say sleeping on him, but since the Rascals left, like the rest of the Rascals left, he's been kind of lost in the shuffle. So him having the belt solidifies him as a single star, which is great. And Steve Macklin, he could take the loss because in the long run, he could either form form a tag team with, I don't know, a certain other forgotten son that's really not doing anything right now.
True.
And that'd be great for them to actually pop up in Impact to actually win the tag titles, something they never got to do in NXT. So, But I think Trey Miguel is going to win this match. And Steve Macklin, if he does get another shot at it, it'll be by some nefarious mean, like maybe it'd be a masked wrestler or some crap.
Well, that would be ironic.
It's a very throwback gimmick, but it's worked for Los Conquistadors and like everybody else under God's green earth at least once. So the masked wrestler routine.
Yeah, we've seen it so many times. Hi, El Generico.
Yep.
That being said, I wonder what happened to that guy. That being said, yeah, I got Trey retaining too. Again, he has fought so long and hard just to get this title. His first championship, might I add, in Impact Wrestling. And again, when it comes to the X Division, you want to elevate this division. Trey Miguel has a lot to prove to elevate what Josh Alexander did and what made him partway be nominated and voted for Wrestler of the Year. I want to see what Trey can do and finally achieve the one challenge no one else has been able to, and at least somehow pin Macklin down for the 3 count. I got Trey retaining as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go into a whole different aspect. The show's called Hard to Kill. Well, I guess you're going to be hard to kill if you're going to face a hardcore war. As now we have what they call it, an unholy alliance of Violent by Design, Eric Young's faction with Joe Doering and Diener in the corner, of course, and the current Impact World Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, taking on the unlikely, I would say, heart and soul and alliance of Impact Wrestling. You have Heath, baby, and Rhino, Eddie Edwards, Willie Mack, and Rich Swann. And based on what happened tonight, it is the Good Brothers and Violent by Design that have the advantage after Carl Anderson pinned Heath Slater. And the only thing I can tell you what happened tonight was an all-out melee and war, as I expected, because, again, it's Impact Wrestling's go home to the pay-per-view. But basically, this will work like Lethal Lockdown, but without the cage. It will be man's advantage in intervals. Everybody will come out in intervals. Anything goes. All the carnage, weapons, madness galore. And there cannot be a decision until everybody is out in this match. This one's a little weird, but I feel like whoever wins this is going to have a setup maybe towards a brighter 2022. And to think, it was the Good Brothers that have yet to face Violent by Design, a true standard traditional tag team match for those titles. And I've been waiting on that for the longest time. But also you have Rich Swann, Willie Mack. They could maybe lobby for the titles. And Eddie Edwards, he's just the guy that's always ready to fight whatever that goes against what he believes is right in Impact Wrestling. And then you have Ronald, a former member of Violent by Design, who is still to this day looking for vengeance against Eric Young, probably to gore him. And Heath Slater, who I feel like right now is just looking for that big moment. So this is a who's who as far as who you think is going to win this. But again, the biggest thing you got to focus on, the tag team champs are involved in this. Whoever wins is definitely going to be, I feel, straightforward going after that tag team gold. As Eric said himself, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. This is not an alliance, but we do have a common agenda here, and that is the fact that we can't stand any of these people.
Yeah.
So we're going to unleash violence by design, along with you, just for one night. But will that lead to victory? Here are your thoughts.
I'm going to do a little fantasy booking here because I know it's not going to happen. But I like the idea of either Rich Swann or Willie Mack getting attacked before the match even goes down and being sidelined out of the match. And then from there, you have Eddie Edwards says he has somebody that he can get a hold of, and that that person could be in an arena and could be in the match. So they have their whole one person comes down to the ring at a time, and they have the entire ring full, and the last person comes up, the Death Machine, Sami Callihan.
Back from injury.
Yeah, so that would be an awesome return for him. It'd be a return to form because it'd be an extremely violent match. And the fact that Eddie Edwards would call him, especially since they had just this huge blowout, like hardcore feud before he got injured, it would just seem so poetic. And for him to actually come out on top of the match. So either way, I'm going to go ahead and say the Faces are going to win this one against Violent by Design and the Good Brothers. Okay. The Good Brothers won't take the pin. It possibly could be Eric Young taking the pin on this one. But I still see the Faces coming out on top on it.
Okay. I do like what you did there because I do remember Eddie Edwards and Sammy Callan did form a short term alliance when they were going after two
Yeah,
people we're going to talk about later. And inevitably, that led to Sammy Callan kind of getting rid off due to injury. Although it
yeah,
was nice to see Sonny Sanders at IPWF. That made me laugh.
yeah,
But yeah, I agree with you. Something tells me here this is going to be like your weird moment. Maybe a new member of the roster introduced. Maybe someone does show up in return. But it feels like the faces are going to get the better of the Good Brothers and Violent by Design here too. Because the way I see it is, regardless, I see Violent by Design and the Good Brothers having a bit of a fallout or miscommunication during this match. Because we know that Joe Doering, for example, he still has bad blood with Big LG. I want to see that match revisit. And I know Violent by Design wants those tag titles back because they weren't
exactly.
involved in the decision to lose them in the first place. And they have yet to have their traditional, and might I add, rematch clause one-on-one standard tag team match. So just because of that as well, yeah, I'm going with you. I think the faces are going to get this some way, somehow. It's going
Yeah.
to be weird to see, but again, weirder things have happened. All right, well, we go from one hardcore war to something that I feel is going to be hardcore in its own right, but also it's history. And again, another standard, another staple of this company since its inauguration has always been Ultimate X. And for the first time ever, the most prominent women's division in the industry for the longest time, they get to show us how they bring it. It's the first time ever Knockouts Ultimate X match between Tasha Steeles, Lady Frost, Rachel Ellering, the first ever digital media champion, joining Grace, Rosemary, and the hot mess herself, Chelsea Green. Oofa magoofa. The only thing I could say is so far, I know Jordan Grace has probably the strongest in upper body strength, as she was asking Chris Sabin, how do you handle or go about what's the key in an Ultimate X match? Obviously, climbing and making your way across the rope. So, upper body strength is definitely a key thing. And she apparently was doing pull ups for 15 minutes. Grace, you are literally a genetic freak. Gee, I wonder why. That being said, I look at this match and I think about what happened tonight with a preview of the six ladies involved in a trios match where, in the end, it was Chelsea Green who hit the unprettier and got the winner, Rachel Ellering. So she has the most momentum going into this. Obviously, whoever wins this is going to have a first ballot ticket towards the Knockouts Championship. In this match, you have a recent new signing and you have several people that's never even touched the Knockouts champion. This is a who's who, and I kind of like that because I don't know what to expect. There's no history as far as knockouts going to this elevation. That was another
Yeah.
match in itself, but that was even scarier. And honestly, I'm really curious what these six women are capable of in this environment. They're going to have to go high risk. They're going to have to be innovative. And in the end, we're going to see who wants it the most. But with that being said, is traditional predictions quota in these type of multi-person special showcases. I'm allowing 2 picks. So we have a primary and a secondary. Primary worth 2, secondary worth 1. And again, it's a who's who. But based on just what I saw tonight in Impact Wrestling, I'm going to go with the two involved in the decision in that match and say it comes down to them. For the longest time, I've been thinking that Chelsea Green is going to be a champion in Impact Wrestling. I personally had her booked to be the first digital media champion, and Jordan Grace won that match in the end. And the
Yeah.
biggest reason I said that, I mean, her husband, congratulations, recently getting wed, is literally an internet champion. I mean, it kind of made sense to me, but I was wrong. She even had a one-on-one match she qualified for, facing Jordan Grace one-on-one, fell short in that. But this right here, this could be very interesting to me, and I feel she will take the highest of risk and go to the extreme to win this match. But then again, one of my personal favorites, the Queen of Strong Smile, and I wonder if she's actually going to go heel for her best friend, maybe not, but could those two have a bit of a confrontation? I really want to see Ella Ring really push forward in Impact Wrestling this year. So that being said, I look at Rosemary, though, and she is the Knockouts OG in this inauguration Knockouts division for the longest time. And she has been the Knockouts champion before. She had 2 classic matches with Deonna Purrazzo over the Knockouts championship. Lady Frost, she got this match courtesy of Gail Kim because of her incredible in-ring Impact Wrestling debut, newly signed to the Knockouts roster. Tasha Steeles is still looking for that moment for herself since breaking off from Fire and Flavor. When surprising, though, Savannah Evans is involved in this match to maybe help her try and get up towards the win. And then you have Jordan Grace, who is a former Knockouts champion in her own right, involved in the first and only Knockouts Iron Woman match for 30 minutes against Deonna Purrazzo in a losing effort. And now she's the digital media champion. And I wonder if that could come into play at all either, or even tease the opponent. So again, there's so many different ways this match can go. Everybody is worthy and everybody could be a future Knockouts champion. But without trying to overthink myself, again, I am actually going to go with Chelsea Green as my primary and Ellering as my second. Jerry, your thoughts on this match? Good luck booking and picking this one.
I was about to say, like, I don't want to pick Chelsea only because it's kind of like a high risk scenario, and she's awfully prone to injuries. Like, especially in the big match type scenario. I hate for her to get injured in this match, but it's dangerous. It's super dangerous. Like, she's fallen off of aprons and been out of match, like out of ring action for like 3 months. It's one of those situations where I don't want to put my faith into her, but Ellering seems like she's my number one pick for this one because you got Jordan Grace, who's already got a belt at this point. So, and I can see her turning heel in this whole aspect and just being jealous because, like, now, like, her friend's supposed to be getting this title shot, and it's like it's almost like unneeded jealousy on her part, but it'll brew up and it'll be wonderful. Mm-hmm. Lady Frost is kind of a dark horse. I think she's gonna show what she can truly do in this match, and it's gonna be really cool. But I don't see her winning it. Rosemary would probably be my second. Rosemary would probably be my second pick, though, because Mickie James is one of those great wrestlers at this point, or even Deonna Purrazzo, whoever wins the death match.
Yes,
either one have the potential of being great heels. Because Mickie James, like, easily be a fan favorite, like 1 second, and just had a crowd completely booing her in like 5 seconds. So her versus Rosemary would be very entertaining, I think. Or her versus like a babyface Rachel Ellering would be very entertaining. So those are my two picks. I'm going to go with Rachel Ellering and Rosemary.
I think that's fair, but I will say this about Chelsea Green. She was involved in GCW, and we've seen her get amped up, particularly by Alley Cat. So, again, I would not count her out, and she's not afraid to take risks. And she's been wrestling this whole time, probably still with not a fully recovered right wrist.
Yeah.
So, again, kudos to her. And, again, I think she can be the champion.
That could come into play, Noah. They could actually, like, she could be crawling across those ropes, and all of a sudden, they play it up that her wrist is like giving out on her, so that's when she drops.
Or someone throws a chair at her and she drops hard too. And again, Savannah Evans, she is also an X factor because the one person, no disrespect, that we didn't talk about at all, maybe winning this, was Tasha Steelz. And again, Tasha Steelz, if nothing else, she has a heater, and that's Savannah Evans. And if it wasn't for Rachel Ellering beating Savannah in that singles match a while back on, Rachel probably wouldn't even been in this match. Rachel's been one of those that I feel like is really trying to test herself or prove something to herself. I feel like I can see in her matches that sometimes I feel like there is doubt within her, but she knows how bad she wants this. She's just not sure how to get to this. And again, this match right here might be that big key stepping stone. It is the setup of 2022 for this Knockouts division. Bar none.
That's one of the great things about this match. It's not about pinfalls. It's not about submissions. It's not about anything. It's just about getting the X.
That's right. That beautiful, traditional, big
by any means necessary. It could be a ladder. It could be climbing across. It could be anything.
But most of the time, we've seen people go across the ropes, and sometimes it comes down to two people, and one person falls hard, and the other person somehow still claims and grips it.
I'm still thinking Chelsea will be the one that falls hard, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, again, she's the one that definitely could handle it the most, and definitely could execute it the most. So it wouldn't surprise me. And also, you don't have to fall with the X. You just simply have to have it in your hands, and you're the winner.
Yeah.
So, again, we're going to have to wait and see. It's going to be a hell of a match, though. Could be a sleeper to steal the night, considering, again, this Knockouts division, they know how to show up. Yep. But considering what else is on this show, maybe I'm speaking way too soon, because who would have thought we would see, when you think about how many championships have been defended in this company's history, the Ring of Honor, the pure Ring of Honor, the original World Heavyweight Championship. The technical prowess himself, the octopus, the foundation, Jonathan Gresham, taking this everywhere he can, defending it against anybody. Now takes on truly one of the best ever, one half of the Moisture Machine Guns, and a pioneer of the X Division, Hell Saban himself,
Hail
Chris.
Saban!
Enough said, Chris Saban. Jerry, take it away, man. Your thoughts on this match? Again, Jonathan Gresham, since he won this title back a battle against Jay Lethal last year in December due to unfortunate circumstances with Bandito, who, might I add, is defending his title the same day on the GCW show. So, inevitably, Bandito and Jonathan Gresham have to meet up, and I'll see title unification, but that'll be for another day. But here we have Chris Saban, the 8-time X Division champion, taking on one of the most pure, all-round, best technical wrestlers in the world, Jonathan Gresham. Does Saban make history, or does Gresham somehow turn into a pretzel and get the win?
I think Saban is going to get a huge pop out of this whole thing. The second that you hear "Hail Saban" or the speakers, people are just going to go nuts. But I can actually see this being a potential show stealer. At least in the technical aspect, I think it's going to be a fantastic match. But I see Gresham pulling it off. Maybe not by even pure means. That'd be the craziest part. Maybe he won't be able to put away Chris Saban by submission or by general. It could be a cheap tights type thing. We don't know. But at the same time, I think Gresham's going to walk away with it. It's too soon for him to be losing the ROH belt, especially on his first real defense since winning the title at Final Battle. So if they did that to him at this point, after all the accolades and all the praise being shown towards him at this point, had him drop to Saban and make him a transitional Ring of Honor champion, no, that's just not going to happen.
Well, again, with the whole Ring of Honor restructuring, that will definitely finally be put in front of us in April. And Jonathan Gresham right now, he's still pure and true to Ring of Honor. And, of course, this title. Again, it's a who's who as who could face him for it. But, yeah, I expect this to be an incredible showcase match. But if Saban somehow beats Jonathan Gresham for the Ring of Honor, he's not capable of doing it. But Gresham, Ring of Honor, they are as close as Ciampa was to Black and Gold NXT. RIP. So that being said, yeah,
that one stung. All right,
I had to say it, dude. You
yeah,
know what that was.
fine.
That was my NXT.
Yes.
Not gonna rest. Go check out the No DQ review, folks. The All NXT edition with Jerry and company. I was not part of it because again, I was watching Impact Wrestling. That being said, I do have Jonathan Gresham retaining as far as who challenges next. We do know that NJPW and Impact, they do have a relationship, and they're also coming back to Texas TV. Maybe somebody shows up from there and challenges the Octopus. I wouldn't mind seeing, I don't know, Zack Sabre Jr. Just saying. Yeah. That's a match for me right there that I want to see between him and Jonathan Gresham for this title. That right there, anywhere, any promotion, anytime. Well, again, just saying. But speaking of NJPW,
I'd be all for Ospreay somewhere down the road.
Well, Ospreay's already a belt collector, having the Warrior Wrestling Championship, Red Pro, heavyweight, British Heavyweight Championship, and I think he has the Cruiserweight Championship now, too, because he got a second. No, it's tactile, excuse me.
Yep.
And, of course, we saw, spoiler alert, for those that didn't watch Wrestle Kingdom Day 2, you are a fool. It was Will Ospreay defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Kazuchika Okada, and you need to go watch that match yourself to see the result. That being said, what did you really think I was going to do that?
No, you're not spoiling type. You're just not.
No, I'm pure and simple. It's as simple as that. I can't say the same about this match though when it comes to these two and their attitude. Yeesh. The walking weapon, Josh Alexander, who's definitely the worst for wear after tonight, will be going to war with, speaking of NJPW, Jonah. And again, this all occurred when Jonah showed up and basically took out Josh Alexander with multiple splashes and carnal. Josh Alexander, of course, called him out, and Scott D'Amore made the match official with him at Hard to Kill, and it's been boiling over for Josh Alexander to get his hands on Jonah. Jonah tonight, he had a match in Impact Wrestling, and he squashed the daylights out of Jake something. What's his name? His name's Jake something. He's still probably pasted to the canvas. And Josh Alexander came out to try and get himself some ahead of this fight, and he did to a degree. And then Jonah basically squashed him again, but this time he squashed him through a freaking table in the middle of the ring. Ouch. Bones crunch and wood splintered. And we saw backstage that Josh Alexander is kind of the worst for wear right now. But again, this is the walking weapon, Josh Alexander, former X Division champion and Impact World champion in his own right. He's already taken it to the King, Minoru Suzuki. And I feel like here, while Jonah is focused on what he's doing now in NJPW and Impact, the Impact stuff, according to what I last read, it goes through to Rebellion. So whether or not Jonah has another program to this or they drag this thing out that far, that remains to be seen because it's the first one-on-one now with Josh Alexander and Jonah. Jerry, your thoughts on this match? Do you see Josh Alexander pulling this thing out?
I see probably ref stoppage. I think Jonah's going to keep on splashing Josh Alexander to the point where they just stop the match. Like that'd be the one of the best ways of actually protecting Josh in this feud is like if especially since like they're trying to build Jonah into this monster at this point. Like just have him continually splash Josh Alexander to the point where he either starts coughing up blood or something, some sort of theatric like that. And from there, they stop the match. Josh Alexander doesn't give up. He doesn't tap out. He doesn't get pinned. He's completely protected in this whole thing. Could even come back as like, you know, and actually beat Jonah like later on. But for right now, I see Jonah actually picking up the victory, and that be the means of it. Like he'll be saying he's cleared to wrestle and everything, but he'll clearly not be able to.
Well, Josh Alexander has been on a nonstop tirade to get back at Moose for what he did back at Bound for Glory when he caught his shot with the family in the middle of the ring. And honestly, he has been an emotional powder keg. While Scott D'Amore has been saying you need to get your emotions in check, it seems like Josh Alexander still has not reached that point. So maybe a humbling by Jonah is kind of an avenue to do that, where he does take some time off, get the inevitable win over Jonah, and you finally do set up maybe his inevitable Impact World Championship rematch. So I do like where you're going there. And considering so far what we've looked at this pay-per-view and seeing how we don't have really no titles changing hands or any like outside talent really winning here, I think Jonah pulling out the win here and making a statement against Josh Alexander would really push forward. And I'd be curious to see who Jonah goes after next. Maybe Eddie Edwards would be really furious. That'd be an interesting fight. So yeah, I think I'm actually gonna go.
It could be Trey Miguel. X Division has no limits.
If that boy,
he could be like the second coming of Samoa Joe. We never know.
If that boy becomes the X Division Championship and takes that title to the New Japan Strong, for example, that would be amazing.
You gotta think for a while there it was Abyss. Okay, so Abyss is like Abyss is not exactly a cruiserweight.
Shout out to Joseph Park, by the way. I miss that guy.
He's always great.
Yeah. But that being said, yeah, I think I'm actually going to agree with you on this one. I am going to go with Jonah because I think that these two are not going to be done with each other at a one-up. This is not Minoru Suzuki heading back to Japan. Jonah is around to stay. And
this would totally give Josh Alexander a more emotional storyline and more of a redemption kind of thing too, which is always great to see, especially when you want to push somebody and make him a major star, is to get them squashed by somebody like Jonah, come back, beat Jonah, and then like proceed on to like a world title match.
Sounds like you're setting up a Kenny Omega versus Hangman thing, but much quicker.
Pretty much, yeah. Sometimes you got to push like that just to get people with low attention spans to just pay more attention.
Yeah, and everybody loves a big hoss fight, but also sometimes people just love seeing somebody destroy somebody. Hello, Wardlow, Powerbomb Tiffany. Oh, Wardlow and Impact would be awesome. That being said, let's go ahead and talk about something that definitely is going to be a war. Not a hardcore war, but a Texas death match. And, Jerry, I know we've been saying it over and over, but I got to be honest with you, man. This right here is the match that I think is going to steal the damn night, the damn show, and the damn weekend, considering everything else that's on. Mickie James defends the Knockouts World Championship against the former champion herself, Deonna Purrazzo. Holy hell, what are we in for here in the heart of Texas? Jerry, now you followed Deonna Purrazzo. You know how incredible she is. She has made
she's
Impact
wonderful.
own. All right.
Yeah,
She has gone above and beyond not just the Nagas, but this entire roster, even being called Wrestler of the Year and Nagas in the same year. Now the two-time Knockout of the Year. This two-time Knockouts champion, current Reina de Reinas champion. If I could put this into an artistic metaphor for you, the Virtuosa wishes to create a gallery of gold this year, becoming a belt collector in her own right, it seems. But before that, she looks like is going to have to make a canvas of blood and broken modern art with probably Mickey James' arms as he tries to regain the Knockouts Championship for the third time. Since Mickey James faced her off at Summerversary, these two have been at each other's throats. And we saw at Bound for Glory that literally Mickey James pushed Gian Purrazzo further than anybody else and won the Knockouts Championship. That still shocks me to this day. I thought the Virtuosa was untouchable on everybody on that Knockouts roster, and technically she was because Mickey James, old school OG knockout, and here we are. I'm still waiting for Killer Kelly to show up. That's a whole different match. But that being said, we see now that Deonna Purrazzo might already be looking past Mickey James as she looks towards another title that she technically never lost, and that's the Women of Honor Championship and Ring of Honor, currently held by the Prodigy, called it, Roxy. And Roxy was all game for it. Many people compare Roxy and Deonna Purrazzo. They pretty much have the same type of lineacy when it comes to their prowess and their growth and their progress potential in the wrestling ring. So, what sort of adaptations, what sort of lengths will Deonna Purrazzo go to try and regain the Knockouts Championship in a Texas death match that goes beyond her technical capability? Yeah, she won a war before with Sue Young, but this is Mickey James we're talking about in Texas. This is hardcore country. Saw tonight her having a great bout with Mercedes Martinez, really pushed her far, but in the end, she almost took Mercedes Martinez both of her arms, who recently went through shoulder surgery. She went down and dirty tonight in a traditional match, so I'm very curious what the former Knockouts champion does here. So, Jerry, your thoughts on this match, and does Deonna Purrazzo become a three-time Knockouts champion?
I think Purrazzo is going to surprise us all and probably pull off a lot of go ahead and call them hardcore submissions. She'll probably use barbed wire. She'll probably use thumbtacks. She'll probably no doubt use all these things, but she'll use them in an artistic manner to the point where you're like, okay, either Mickey will stay down for a pin, or she'll be like in so much pain, like maybe like has an arm bar with like barbed wire wrapped around her arm at the same time, or maybe some sort of chokehold or something like Anna Jay did with the Queen Slayer not too long ago on AEW on Rampage.
Well,
Like
by the
that.
way, that street fight, my God, that was so incredible. Congrats to
That's
Ty J and the bunny, yeah,
yeah.
and Ford. That was so damn good. I'm sorry, continue.
But I'm saying like that's the thing. They're trying to up the ante from what AEW's been doing lately, especially with the women's hardcore matches.
Mm-hmm.
So and Impact really hasn't been slouches when it comes to female hardcore matches either. But this one's going to take the cake, I'm pretty sure. But I see Mickey walking away with the title on this one, but it's going to be a hell of a match. It's going to make Deonna look more like a hybrid wrestler at this point than just like your run of the mill, technical genius that she is. I think it's going to come down to just brute strength and brutality. And I don't know if people remember this, but Mickey James is crazy.
Yes, I was just thinking about that. She might go WrestleMania 22 on Deonna Purrazzo.
Exactly. Mickey James is not. She knows how to turn on the cuckoo. Okay, and then that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen with this match. Anything she can do to like keep Deonna Purrazzo down is going to what she's going to end up doing.
It's one of those things also where Mickey James is a recognizable face to Impact Wrestling, TNA fans, both new and old. And Deonna Purrazzo, she pretty much has beaten them all. Many people believe that Deonna Purrazzo, she should be the one that leads the Forbidden Door for women's professional wrestling and goes out to face somebody else. Maybe a particular doctor, just saying. I'm really torn on this because, again, Deonna Purrazzo is so damn good. And there are still a couple of matches I have yet to see her face as far as the Knockouts Championship goes. Rachel Ellering being one of them. And, of course, Killer Kelly, please get well soon. I want to see her in Impact Wrestling take on Deonna Purrazzo. But Mickey James, Every time she steps into the ring with somebody, she elevates whoever she's in the ring with. And since taking this Knockouts Championship across both Impact Wrestling and the NWA, where she's still doing stuff there too, it does make more sense from a publicity standpoint, maybe, and just audience reach out that Mickie James does continue to be the champion too. But again, I feel about Deonna Purrazzo. She has the match with Roxy for the Women of Honor championship. If she's going to become this belt collector, and she still is the reigning defending greatest advantage champion, that right there makes sense for her to win the Knockouts title and build her way as the belt collector. And does she stop here or go for the Forbidden Door for that too? I'm really torn on this, but again, it's a Texas death match. Anything goes. I feel like we're going to see Crimson Mask, and I feel we are going to see some ingenious submission holds.
Yeah.
Barbed wire attacks, kendo sticks. She might trap off her arms with kendo sticks and literally wrench them as far back as possible.
Even a steel chair. Steel chairs can be used in so many different ways.
Anything. It might be a weapon we don't even think of. It might be a cattle prod for all Texas, right? And again, this is Impact Wrestling. They know how to be innovative and surprise us when we least expect it.
And naturally a bull rope too, since it's Texas.
We need more cowbell, but also I don't fear the Reaper. Anyway, I'm actually going to go against you on this one. I feel like that somehow Deonna Purrazzo, she has a point to prove as she continues to adapt herself, not just in MMA, not just in technical wrestling, as she articulates a hardcore masterpiece to somehow finally overcome Mickie James. I feel like Mickie James, like you said, is there not only to elevate and push Deonna Purrazzo's wrestling prowess, but I feel like this is kind of like a testing and then passing of the guard. Let's see what else you can do. And I don't think Deonna and Mickie are either going to be done with Impact 2. But I actually have the Virtuosos somehow pulling out the win. I don't know how. I really can't dictate the finale or the result. And that's what really makes me excited for this match.
I'm about to say,
Deonna Purrazzo's going to do it.
As cliche as it sounds, the real winner for this match will be the fans.
Yeah, the old wrestling cliche. But you know what? There's some times where it's just so damn true. It's okay to say it. And here, I 110% agree with you. Regardless, these two are going to kill each other over the Knockouts Championship. And I can't wait. So good luck to both. And, well, you know, first time you and I split. Now we'll see if we'll split as far as this match, which obviously is going to be our main event because it's the Impact World Championship. And all we got to ask ourselves is one key question. Is the man that's been in the business for 17 years, the ultimate underdog, the ultimate undervalued, maybe utilized talent, the guy you always count out, is he truly always ready to be the guy, the face of a major wrestling company? As the guy who said, hey, thanks for my developmental WWE, has been taking it all over the wrestling industry. I'm, of course, talking about Matt Cardona. By the way, congrats on your recent engagement to Chelsea Green. Taking on W. Morrissey and Moose in a triple threat Impact World Championship match. We have seen the manipulation that Moose has tried to put forward on both W. Morrissey and Matt Cardona to make them both underestimate themselves, but also guess each other in this match versus you look at him as the champion. It more so seems like he's played the mind games more personally, though, with Matt Cardona versus W. Morrissey, who again is said he's not here to make friends. He's here to make championships. You guys might remember me from just a simple catchphrase, but I am no longer that guy, and I'm going to show you something. Whether you support me or not, I don't care. We saw what happened with that chair shot. And Chelsea Green, folks, she could take a chair shot. She's hardcore. She's a hot mess. She's a tough son of a, you know. And we saw a nice little sit down where at the end, Chelsea Green, she knows what she's got to focus on. She just hopes that Matt Cardona, as bad as he wants this, is focused enough to finally get it done too. This is the 1 year anniversary, by the way, that Matt Cardona has been involved in Impact Wrestling too. But again, the inevitable is the match that everyone thinks is to come, and that is Moose versus Josh Alexander for the Impact World Championship. Or do they throw us a curveball here, and does Matt Cardona somehow pull the Hail Mary? And is it longer than 24 hours than his WrestleMania 32 moment? And that was mid-card. Or is he mid-Cardona?
That was such a great moment. It
really was. It took me by surprise, too. Of all the people in that match, I'll be honest, Zack Ryder, the former Zack Ryder, I did not think you could do it.
Yeah.
But that being said, do I think he could do it here? And again, triple threats. What do I say always about triple threats? There's a triple threat for a reason when it comes to a championship. You have a fall guy and you have a buffer to protect the champion regardless of the result, whether they win or lose. The biggest X factor here is W. Morrissey, who simply signed the contract and walked off and hasn't seen hind or tail since or said anything to them or done nothing to them either. And again, you got Moose, who's the guy that feels like no matter what, he's the most hated. He'll do whatever he has to win this championship, and that makes him the most dangerous. Jerry, how do we end Hard to Kill? Who leads Impact Wrestling as the Impact World Heavyweight Champion?
This last year, Moose was more or less seen as a joke because he had the TNA belt that he was carrying around like it was a legit title still.
Yes.
And at the same time, you had the AEW merger going on, so he just became a complete afterthought until he pretty much more or less cashed in on Josh Alexander and got the TNA title and he got the Impact title.
Yes.
So he's got something to prove this year. And the best way to start that is to win this triple threat match. Like triple threat matches, like you said, there's really no rules to them. It's pretty much it can boil down into a hardcore match, and we've seen Matt Cardona. He can do hardcore, especially in Game Changer Wrestling. Yeah, so he'll be able to take the bumps. He'll be able to take anything that Moose throws at him. But at the same time, I think it's going to come down to Moose just being an opportunist and somehow finding a way of actually walking away with his belt and living to fight another day, more or less. And it's going to just continue the feud between Morrissey and Cardona, and then maybe we'll get another program out. Maybe somebody else will pop up at the end of the paper, at the end of the show to surprise us. Who knows? To challenge Moose. So
Tomohiro Ishii, please. Tomohiro Ishii to Impact Wrestling. You beat Moose back at Resurgence in a 16-minute classic. I need that match revisited, please, especially after you were robbed of the Neverweight title. Just Tomohiro Ishii.
It leads itself to that kind of thing because you can have like Moose like pretty much raising his arm in victory in the middle of the ring, and then all of a sudden place goes black, and then you have a debut or a surprise return from somebody staying at the top of the ramp to close the night out. It just seems perfect. So Moose winning the belt sounds right to me.
I feel like that Matt Cardona is definitely going to prove a lot in this match and has the most pressure on himself. But I do feel like that he and Morrissey will be their own worst enemies and basically take each other out. We might see Cardona come up with the near win over Morrissey, and then Moose probably spears him in the next week and maybe pins Morrissey. Because at the end of the day,
it's going to be snatched away from Cardona, just like you said a little bit ago with like his 24-hour victory for the Intercontinental belt. He's going to have victory in his clutches, and then he's going to turn around, get taken out by Moose.
Unfortunately. Yeah, it just seems like that's just what's going to happen. I feel Cardona is not going to be involved in the decision here, which is going to protect him. And I still feel like he is going to be on the hungry road to be the world champion. But I just don't see it here. I actually see Morrissey in the fall via Moose just capitalizing on the work that they've done, or maybe spearing him in the next week. Because what's funny is originally it was Moose who offered Morrissey the one-on-one match. And again, basically, Morrissey has turned his back on Moose. I feel Moose is looking for payback. And so far, Moose has not touched Morrissey. I see it's coming, and I think it's coming at Hard to Kill, and that's going to be our deciding thing. So I do have Moose retaining. But again, if the lights go out and I hear those sirens and Tomohiro Ishii shows up as the next challenger, that would make my week after what happened at Wrestle Kingdom. Bar none. But the bottom line is this. Hard to Kill is going to set up a lot, as, of course, we have the Impact Road to Rebellion. They're next of the Big Four pay-per-views. And I'm really excited to see what this show brings, who takes Ultimate X for the first time in the Knockouts, what is the future of the Knockout, and does Steve Maclin finally get the X Division Championship? And again, I don't know what else could happen. I do think we're in for surprises because we have seen more and more and more confirmation, more teases of the NJPW thing with Impact Wrestling. I definitely think we're getting somebody from NJPW on this show before the show goes out. I just don't know who. And I don't know if it's going to be from Strong or actual NJPW. But again, if it's Ishii, that would just make my freaking night. If Tomohiro Ishii shows up, man, that would just make that's what I want. I want the Stone Pit Bull to challenge for the Impact World title. There, I said it. All right.
That
He
would be
deserves to be a
fantastic.
world champion.
That'd be a
And he has
fantastic
history of
match.
Moose. Okay? Give me the match. Give me it. Give me what I want. But I digress. Sorry. I'm going on. I'm going on a
Easy there,
tangent.
Batista.
Hey. All right. I deserve that. All right. Well, that being said, that pretty much sums up the pay-per-view. So, Jerry, any closing crazy questions, bookings, anything else on your mind regarding what's coming this Saturday, too?
I think I got all my craziness out for this one. It's a pretty straightforward pay-per-view, but at the same time, there's so many different possibilities, like on how these matches could end. It's thrilling. It doesn't feel so like as one-sided as these other promotions, where like Impact really doesn't have anything to lose at this point by pushing certain people or just letting certain people take falls, because they've got a great roster. They've got a great amount of wrestlers that are ready to pretty much kill themselves, more or less, for Scott D'Amore.
Well, you're not wrong there, both men and women alike. And again, I'm curious to see what lies ahead. And again, shout out to Sue Young. Congratulations on your pregnancy. And that also makes me think that maybe Rich Swann, according to what you're booking earlier, might not be on the show due to reasons. And that might lead to somebody showing up. But again, we'll have to wait and see. And Tony Storm to Impact Wrestling. Just saying. That being said, folks, that concludes this first Simply Normal Duo pay-per-view predictions panel. We'll definitely work
working title.
Yeah, working title. You know what? I'm tired. I'm tired. That's all I gotta say. I tried.
Oh, so am I, Chief.
Anyway, that being said, Jerry, this was a hell of a good time and talk. We definitely got to do this again. I think we found our exclusive now for Impact Wrestling pay-per-views as far as coming together and chatting about shows too. But of course, I got to ask, where can people continue to collaborate, engage you, challenge and question you, and find you?
Gerald_JSJ on Twitter. And also my Facebook group, Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR, exclamation
point. Don't forget it.
You can find me on there. Just go ahead and send an invite, and we'll let you in the group. Lots of memes. Every now and then we'll have discussions here and there, but those are kind of tapered off to just, funny videos and like just a bunch of like match sharing and stuff too, which is always great. But otherwise, yeah, that's where you'll find me at. Or Instagram, the_gentleman_slaughter. You can find me on there as well, and also on NoDQ.com videos lately as well. I've been doing a lot more with them. Been doing that for about 3 years now, I think, and it feels like a lot longer. Oh my god! But
ironically, they've been around for 20 years too.
Yeah, but I was about to say they've been around about as long as Impact or TNA. That's crazy. But yeah, you can find us on there as well, because Noah's on these programs as well.
When I can be. Again, work. I mean, I probably would have did the review, but the biggest reason I don't do the reviews, Impact Wrestling owns my Thursday nights, and come on, I gotta watch my Impact Wrestling now. Let's go.
Oh yeah, they need a fan base. So there you go, Noah.
Great stuff from Impact Wrestling. I enjoy them. All right. Well, Jerry, thank you. Folks, again, you want to follow me? Know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of, what's the word? Oh, yeah, ... professional wrestling. Damn it. But I digress. So find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at mfoster1916. Find the simple YouTube channel as you see here. And shout out to all 220 of fun YouTube creators journey. It's not being anytime soon. We will be back with another ATW view, maybe before Revolution. We'll have to wait and see. And shout out to ATW crew on Twitter. Also, we'll be back on the Tay Turnbuckle Network, giving you another recap of Rampage, as I do weekly. And I will be back on the Jeff Meacham Network, bringing you my own form of live reactions, play-by-play commentary, too, for Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill pay-per-view. Thank you, by the way, Matt Striker, to all you've done for Impact Wrestling. I'm certainly going to miss that personality, that energy, and that play-by-play bravado you brought forward, too. Darn it, Josh Matthews. As always, folks, I'd like to close. There are no winners, there are no losers, there are no bears. They're just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. So at the end of the day, folks, more than ever, respect one another and support each other, and just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. It's as simple as that. And don't live in this device and let it dictate your life. Okay? Freaking social media is not the answer to everything, and you don't need it to live too. And that's really all I got to say about that. So again, folks, did you enjoy the video? Do you have predictions too? Do you want to join the league? The link is in the description down below. It will also, of course, be on the banner. And again, I welcome anybody who is a fan of professional wrestling as I do leagues for Impact, NJPW, AEW, and of course, the WWE too, to a degree. Again, congrats to Chris that won my first big event show for NJPW. Jerry, good luck in Impact Wrestling. I'll be sure to take these predictions you shared and put them on a graph. And again, folks, the
That was
forum
your
you can
next
find.
question.
Well, come on, you know me. I'll be sure to put all y'all's predictions on a graph and share you the results Sunday afternoon because I hope everybody takes a chance to Impact Wrestling and watch this pay-per-view too. For the new normal, Jerry Slaughter. I am the Superman, Noah Foster. I don't know how well that actually works, but that actually does work pretty well. I hope that you all take care of your life. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Treasure your families and enjoy wrestling and appreciate every day you have. Make an impact always in life. And on behalf of my friend here, have a good night.